What's good, boy dudes and boy dudettes? Today we're going to review Up, a 2009 American 3D computer animated comedy, drama, buddy, adventure film. Wow, that's a lot of genres in one film. Produced by Pixar Animation Studios and released by the Walt Disney Pictures studio. And the film centers on an elderly widow named Carl Fredrickson, and voiced by Ed Ashner, and an earnest boy named Russell, voiced by Jordan Nagy. By tying thousands of balloons to his house, Carl sets out to fulfill his dream to see the wilds of South America and complete a promise he made to his wife Ellie. And the film was directed by Pete Docter and co-directed by Bob Peterson, who also wrote this film screenplay as well as the story with Tom McAfee, with music composed by Michael Giacchino. Pete Docter began working on the story in 2004, which was based on fantasies of escaping from life when it became too irritating for himself. He and 11 other Pixar artists, they spent 3 days in Venezuela gathering research and inspiration, and the designs of the characters were caricatured and stylized considerably, and animators were faced with creating realistic cloth. And Up was Pixar's first film to be presented in Disney's digital 3D, released on May 29, 2009 and opened at the 2009 Cannes Film Festival, becoming the first animated and 3D film to do so. The film grossed a whopping $735 million against a budget of $175 million and received universal acclaim, with critics calling it one of the best animated films of all time. Ed Ashner's vocal performance and Michael Giacchino's score were particularly praised, as was the montage of Carl and his wife Ellie aging together. The film won 2 Academy Awards, including Best Animated Feature, and was nominated for 3 more, including Best Picture, making it the second animated film in history to be nominated for Best Picture. Previously was Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, this film did pretty damn well, and this was kind of like the time when this movie kind of put the staple on Pixar, saying that Pixar movies will make you cry, and all that lot. And what do I think about this film? Well, I've watched this film a couple of times over the years. I remember watching it as a kid back in 2009, and I've seen it a few times. Yeah, let's talk about the good. And for me, I just love the storytelling in this film. The first 10 minutes of this film is like a mini movie. You don't even need the rest of this film. You could just literally play that in as a short film, and it just worked, Heck, the silent scenes with I would say the montage with Ellie and Carl growing up and growing older with each other, you understand what's happening in the scene, and the music helps. There's no sound effects, it's just visual and music. That's what it is. And I'm just looking at it, I'm just like, wow, Pixar really knew how to tell a story without adding sound effects or voice. And it's that is just good storytelling right there. That's what animation should be used. It's show don't tell. I love that. I love knowing what was happening. One of the things I found interesting was a reviewer, I don't know who it was, it probably was the Nostalgia Critic or someone, said that they were in the cinema, and the scene where it kind of pans from Carl and Ellie basically making the baby room to the hospital where the doctor's kind of telling Ellie she can't have a baby, and we don't hear him say it, but we just know it because we can see it. And apparently the reviewer said that this 4-year-old girl, 3 or 4-year-old girl, was like, oh no, she can't have a baby. And he was like, how does she know that? They didn't say it. Has she ever been in a place like that? And it kind of made me realize that, wow, even little kids can understand what's going on in something like this, And I just really like it. I love Carl, Carl, I feel sorry for him, he's a very grumpy man. He's very tired. He's very angry with the world. He's just very he's completely closed himself off, And what I found interesting was that Carl was always kind of a closed off type of guy. Even when he was a kid, you know, he was always kind of shy and quiet. Not well, he was always just kind of like reserved, you know. But I feel like Ellie was the one who always made him get out of his comfort zone and do extraordinary things. She kind of pushed him to be a bit more outgoing, and now ever since she died, he just kind of reverted back to who he was before, like just being all shut in and all that lot, you know. And I do like Russell, how, you know, this just like a complete different he's completely like polar opposite to Carl, you know. I really did like that, and just I do like their two like kind of like their chemistry, like very grandfather grandson type of bond in a way. My favorite character, apart from them, was definitely Doug, the dog, who has this kind of like communicator around his neck when they go to South America. I just love the voice actor, and that was done by Bob Peterson. I just flipping love him, and and I just like I liked all the how all the other dogs were kind of portrayed as well. You know, I really feel like the animation on the dogs and animals were really good, you know. And as well as that, like the human characters looked so much better in this film, you know. They are very stylized, you know. Like I like how Carl's kind of like design is all squared and boxed in, and it's kind of like he's just kind of shutting himself in a way. I like that design in a way. I also like Russell's roundness, like bubbly and just free in a way, you know. I love the scene where he just gets the balloons and he ties it to the house, and the house just floats up into the sky. I thought that looked beautiful, you know. It was just wow. And I just like Pixar loves to make blue skies with white clouds, you know. Like I don't know, I feel like it just looks visually appealing, you know. It's kind of like their branding, you know. Toy Story had it as well, like the blue sky and the white clouds, you know. I just like that, you know. I just love it. I absolutely loved it, you know. The film just had a really good flow, but I have to admit, the more times I watch it, the more I start to realize that first act was just so good, to the point where the rest of the film doesn't really live up to that, you know. When they go to South America and then they meet like a dude who's been there for a long time, and he goes a little bit crazy, and I don't know, it's just I wasn't really digging the rest of the film as much as how I was in the beginning in a way. And I think it's just because that first act was just so memorable and just emotional, and the rest just was like, it was okay. It kind of felt a bit generic at times, to be honest with you, and that's a bit of a disappointment. But apart from that, Up is a pretty damn emotional flick with great suspense and lovable characters and a great theme and all that. And I'll give it an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give it an A. Go check it out right now. Thanks for watching this review. Please like and share this video. Comment down below and tell me what's your favourite Pixar flick. If that's the thank you for watching. And as always, Boydude the View signing out.